Girl, get in here, get in here, get in here. It's season 3 with Akilah and Zakkiya.
Get in here, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of the Get In Here podcast with Akilah
And Zakkiya.
And we're going to continue on our conversation of healthy dating and unexpected surprises. It's been a few weeks since we've heard from you, Zakkiya, because you mandated that I tell my story last week.
And did.
And so, but the streets are talking and people are asking me like, well, what about Zakkiya? Let's get back to her story about her 3-day weekend with this man that she just jumped into his house and pretty much lived there for an entire
Moved in
weekend.
for the weekend. The first time we were ever together. Yeah.
Exactly. But where are we at now? How's that going?
So fast forward like a month and a half. We have still been talking regularly, seeing each other, having a wonderful time with him. And I think that this may be the man of my dreams, the man that AI helped me create months prior. Okay. And it happened to be, I had a kid-free weekend. We'd gone out for Friday night for dinner, had an amazing time, like laughed, just had a good time together. Sure. And then I think we ended up, he did something on Saturday during the day. I was doing something. So I ended up going back Saturday evening and hanging out with him. And he's like, Saturday night, we were like hanging out on the couch and he was like, do you have to leave early in the morning? Like, do you have any plans for Sunday? And I was like, no, not really. I don't have any reason I have to rush off. And he was like, great. He was like, because I really want to take you to Brooklyn to one of my favorite restaurants for breakfast. And I thought that was like so sweet. And I was like, of course, right? We go to bed, wake up in the morning, and he's like, hey, do you still want to go to Brooklyn? And I'm like, yeah, of course, let's go. And he's like, okay, good. You drive because I don't feel like driving. And I was like, now mind you, for those that don't know, I'm in Jersey, and Brooklyn on a Sunday morning is about an hour and a half drive, right? Which most of the time, I don't mind. I will drive to the city for food anytime. But this Sunday morning in particular, I just didn't feel like driving to the city. Right. So I was like, nah, I don't want to drive. And he's like, yeah, but I really don't want to drive. I didn't sleep well. So like, can you drive? And I was like, no, I don't want to drive to Brooklyn. And I was like, but if you don't want to drive, I still want to hang out with you. Let's just have breakfast locally. I thought that was a great compromise.
Absolutely.
He did not like that. And he was just like, yeah, but I really wanted to share this part of my life with you. And I was like, okay.
Get behind the driver's seat, sir.
And I was like, I get it, but you don't want to drive. I don't want to drive. We can go to Brooklyn any other time. Let's just stay local and have a meal here.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of like a back and forth thing. And I was like, this is not how I plan to wake up on a Sunday morning to go back and forth about driving to Brooklyn. And so I was like, well, it is what it is. And he was like, you know what? Fine, I'll drive. And I was like,
with an attitude? Okay. Like he said it with an attitude?
Well, he was like, no, it's fine. He's like, no, it's fine. I'll drive. And I was like, okay. We get dressed, we get in the car, and we're driving. And the minute that we get on the highway to head to Brooklyn, he starts being like, I don't think you really understood. Like, I didn't sleep well. I kind of have a headache. I didn't want to drive. And I was like, I understood that. But I also understood that I did not want to drive. You were taking me out to Brooklyn to go somewhere. So I was like, I don't even know where we're going. He's like, yeah, but there's GPS. And I was like, okay. I still didn't want to drive. And he's like, this really reminds me of my ex-wife being so uncompromising. Oh. Pump the brakes. Sir, what? I was like, I'm confused as to why that was me offering for us to go out to eat locally was not a compromise. It wasn't, That wasn't me saying, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to go and share a meal with you. It was saying, I don't want to drive to Brooklyn in order to enjoy a meal with you. And you don't either. So let's just stay local and hang out. Y'all, for this entire hour drive to Brooklyn, we're going back and forth. And in my head, I'm kind of like, we've only been talking a month and a half. Me not wanting to drive to Brooklyn should not be creating this type of like contention between us.
Right.
So whatever. I'm kind of like a little bit annoyed, but we make the drive to Brooklyn. We get to Brooklyn and he takes me to a few places of like his favorite place. We get to Brooklyn and we start having a wonderful time. We're
Oh,
walking
okay. So the mood has
around.
shifted.
The mood has
It's a little bit
shifted.
lighter. Okay,
He
good.
takes me to this bakery to get this bread that is, oh, chef's kiss, so good. Then he takes me to the restaurant that he wants to take me. Again, food is amazing, having a good time. And then we start doing like a little bit of like grocery shopping. Like we go to like the farmer's market, the little like corner stores, the bodegas,
Okay.
acting like a whole couple, the way we know how to do, right? And so like we're having a
Right.
good time. I'm buying like fresh coconut water. The guy is like from the stand. We have a wonderful time. And I'm like,
Okay,
okay,
good.
great. We have shifted the energy. We're back
Yes.
to the honeymoon phase.
Right.
We get in the car,
Uh-oh.
and this Negro resurfaces the argument.
No.
And I was like, I was so confused. And I was like, why is he bringing this up again after we felt like we squashed it? It was good. Again, we have an hour drive back to Jersey, and the conversation is like, I just don't think that you were thinking about me. I think that it was kind of selfish for you not to want to drive. And I was just like, and I finally was like, I was so annoyed, and I was finally like, just shut up. I was like, shut up, shut up, shut up. I said it 3 times in a row because I was like, shut up. Like, why are you harping on this? Honey, that offended the hell out of him.
Oh,
And he was like, excuse me? And I was like, because what it was that he said that made me say, shut up, it was like he was speaking for me. I was like, I have never said that. I wasn't even thinking that. So don't put words in my mouth. Like, just, I wanted to be like,
he heard the whole conversation differently in his head. And now he's, like recapping. And to him, he's saying the things that he thought he heard you say in his head, which was the total opposite.
well, honey, based on the backlash that we received on some of our TikTok posts with the men being mad, I understand men really only hear what the hell they want to hear. Okay. Because I was so confused. And I was just like, and I was like, shut up. I really want to be like, shut the fuck is what I really wanted to say. Right. So he was so offended. And like, the rest of the ride home was just icky. And in my head, I was like, this is too early for us to be here. Like a month and a half. Like, we should still be masked up. We should still be faking the funk. And I realized that this man could not, right? We get back to his place, and it's so weird. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my stuff, and I'm going to head out.
Yeah.
And he was like, we kind of like tried to have a conversation, and it still was not going anywhere. We were not seeing eye to eye on this. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. I go home, and I'm kind of like disappointed. Also, but also kind of like let down, where I was like, damn, that just feels so like weird that me not wanting to drive to Brooklyn would create all of this like animosity within our relationship. We end up talking later that evening, and he's just like, like he knows my story at this point. He knows I've been divorced for so many years, that I haven't been with anyone for so long. And like, I was just focused on me. And he was like, I think you may be too selfish or too self-centered to be ready for a relationship. And he was like, I think that, you don't know how to compromise in a relationship, and maybe you're just not ready for one yet. Now, I got off the phone with him, y'all, and I was in my head, and I was literally like, maybe he's right. Maybe I'm not ready for a relationship. Maybe I've been alone for so long that I am only thinking about me. And then I think I called you.
You did.
Because I was literally almost like, not almost, I was sad. I was actually sad about the whole thing. And I was like, I really like this guy. And now am I the one that's wrong? And thank God I was able to call you, because you was like, Z, no.
Stop it.
What you did was not unreasonable. You didn't want to drive. You said no. You held your boundary.
And he had his. That's what I didn't understand. I was like, okay, he had his no, you had your no, and now y'all have to make a decision. Fine. He ends up driving. But why was he so adamant about making you feel bad about your no when he just did the same thing? That's what I didn't understand. I was just like, y'all both woke, like, I would have said the same thing back. Well, sir, I didn't sleep well either. I tossed and turned too. Like, I'm gonna just give it back to you exactly how you're giving it to me. but why is it worse on me? And why do you have to make me feel some type of way? And when you called me, you were just, honey, it was like a battered woman syndrome. I was like, Zakkiya, stop. Like, hold up. Let's recap like moment by moment for you to see. And so that's what I think a lot of us women, we get into our heads about, and then we start believing. But so thank God for me. Thank you. Go ahead.
Right. So, and then I got off the phone and I was like, she's right. Because, like, one thing that I do know is I am very giving, right?
Yeah.
I will, and especially for someone that I like and that I care for.
Yes.
So in this instance, me just saying no, me creating a boundary for him that he didn't like, created all this animosity. And then I was like, Z, don't let anyone ever question your worth or your value. Because that's literally what it was. Right. After I got off the phone, I was just like, nah, Z, like, you've done the work. You've healed. You have gotten better. Like, don't let this man take you out of like what you know and who you are, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of like go silent for a while.
So y'all take a little break, maybe.
We do take a little bit of a break.
Okay.
And then he's like texting. I'm not really responding. And then he sent me a text that sent me over the edge.
I forgot about that.
Okay. I did too, almost. Okay. So, in fact, you know what? I'm going to pull up the video that he sent me so that you all can see what I'm talking about.
You should play it.
Unpopular opinion, being a man has to be one of the most difficult things in this world, because when I hear some of the requests that women have and how they can contradict themselves, I get confused. It's like, I don't need you to be too sensitive, but how dare you not share your feelings and your emotions with me? I need you to be a good leader, but understand that I won't be following you and I won't be listening to you, and you can't lead me anywhere. But be a good leader. Be strong and show a level of vulnerability, but not too much, because then strength and vulnerability cannot coexist together, because now I'm going to think that you're weak. I want you to be truthful and honest, but not too truthful to where you telling me the truth about me, and now I got to feel some type of way towards you, because you're supposed to be on my side at all points in times. Read my mind, but don't you dare assume that you know what I'm thinking. Meet my needs, even though I'm not going to tell you what my needs are all the time, but I expect for you to just know somehow. Be financially stable, but make sure you have a whole bunch of time, even though it takes time to make money. Now, when you hear some of these requests out loud and you see how they contradict themselves, don't it sound silly? And wouldn't you be just as confused as he is?
She articulated it perfectly. Women are walking contradictions. Bottom line.
Okay, so I cut the video off because once the man starts talking, I was getting more and more and more pissed off as the video went. So I was like, why would he send me this video? So much so that I didn't even respond because it triggered the hell out of me. It triggered me like our comments, our posts be triggering these men. And I was just like, why would he send this to me? Is this what he thinks of me? Does he think I'm a walking contradiction? Does he think I don't know how to communicate? And so I just said nothing. And then probably like 5-6 hours later, he was like, you don't have anything to say about this? I wanted us to talk about it. And I was just like, honestly, it triggered me. I was like, it pissed me off that you even sent it to me. Because I was like, it feels like a passive aggressive way to tell me how you feel. And I was like, and passive aggressiveness is like my biggest pet peeve. If you have something you want to say to me, just say it to me. Don't make innuendos. Don't go around the bush. Like, tell me how you feel. This is what it was.
And do not send me a video with a woman telling this message. Like, you are a grown man. So, after all of what she said, well, if that's how y'all feel, and this woman, said it perfectly for you, then okay. But sum up the video before you come to me. Tell me in your own words what you took from that video that is applicable to our situation and how you feel I'm acting contradictory to. Sum it up for me. Don't send me this video and think that I'm supposed to now learn and hear this whole story because it's told from a woman's perspective. And, hopefully that'll make our situation better. No, so that's some passive aggressive shit too.
So what? And again, and I was like, okay, let me check in with a few people to make sure I'm not delusional here, right? I sent it to you. I sent it to 2 other women, and everyone, y'all all responded the same way. Like, what was the point, sir? What's your point? And everybody who saw it, was all the women at least that saw it, were pissed off by it too. Because it's like, what was your point? What are you trying to say? So anyway, I finally respond back and I say, like, you know what? This pissed me off. I didn't understand why you sent it. What are you trying to say? And he was like, oh, no. I wasn't trying to imply anything. I thought we were just going to have a conversation about it. And I was like, And I was like, you know what? Men that feel this way about women, and this is coming from my triggered self, guys. So give me some grace. I was like, men who feel this way about women probably shouldn't date women. They should date other men. And that's all I said. Okay. He responded to me and he was like, what does that have to do with anything? But he could tell I was pissed off. So then he like tried to call me. I let it go to voicemail. And then he was like, hey, sorry if I triggered you. That wasn't the point. I just wanted to have a conversation about it. And I was like, maybe so. So we did talk about it a little bit. I was just like, I didn't appreciate it. It felt passive aggressive, whatever. We move on from that. But like the energy is still just weird between us. Mm. And I like kind of like, I just need a pause. I need a break. So between the drive to Brooklyn, between this video and his response, I was like, I need some time.
Yeah.
And I ghosted him, which is not the mature thing to do. I know that. I just stopped responding. I didn't say anything else. I just stopped calling, stopped texting, stopped responding to him. And then I felt bad about it. I did feel guilty because I think I was talking to you and you were just like, well, Z, if the tables were turned, would you be okay with someone ghosting you? And I was like, you know, I'm not. I don't want to put that energy out because I wouldn't want someone to do it to me. So
right.
I reached out to him and I was like, hey, because at this point, it's probably been like 2 weeks since the Brooklyn incident. And I was like, hey, would you like to meet for dinner? Because my point was like, let's go to a neutral place, kind of clear the air, and let's see if there is still some opportunity there.
Yeah.
So we agreed to a place. He meets me out. And as soon as I see him, I'm like, oh, he's so handsome. Like I reminisce and like we laugh, we have a good time, we enjoy a meal. And at the end of the meal, the waiter comes over. Wait, I do have to say this. Okay, so we've been out a couple of times. And every time we go out, he does this weird thing where he plays like damsel in distress with the waiter. And he'll be like, hey, you know, she's a firecracker. So, you know, come over here and check on me pretty often because, you know, I don't know if I should be left alone with her, right? The first time he did it, I kind of like laughed it off. And I was like, okay, you're just making banter with the waiter or whatever.
Okay.
Every time we went out after that, it was some instance where he would do something like that, either with the hostess or with the waiter or something. And I was just like, why does he keep playing damsel in distress? I was like, this is so weird to me as a man, right?
Right.
And so in this particular one, the guy, he told the waiter, he was like, hey, make sure you come by like every like 5 minutes. Like, don't leave me alone with her. Cause you know, I was just like, okay, this is weird now. And then every time the waiter came back, he would be like, hey, you're like 5 minutes late, dude. Like, what I tell you, this is like, and our waiter, who happens to be like a young guy, kept looking at me like, that's weird. And I was like, I'm glad you agreed. Like he would like laugh it off, but it was weird. And I was like, why does he keep doing that?
Right.
It's also funny, like when you're over someone or you're just like not weird, like you start seeing things differently where you're just kind of like,
you start picking up on different things and like,
okay. And this is also a man who admitted that he did not date a lot of Black women. And he said it was because Black women weren't into him. He was like, so I go with who likes me. And I was like, I get that. But like, he would always say things like, oh, you're such a sassy Black woman. Or you're going to go get your hair done. You can't get it wet or stuff like that. And I used to just kind of be like, see, now I feel like you're trying to play me. Right. And like, you got issues with Black women. Right. So anyway, we're at dinner. We have a good time. And I think this could be an in back into us like talking regularly again because we had taken that hiatus. And then at the end of the night, the waiter comes over and drops the bill. Now, He drops the bill. I don't go to pick it up. He doesn't go to pick up. And I was like, okay. So we just continue to talk. I'm drinking my wine. Waiter comes back around because it's later now. So the restaurant's probably like, it's like emptying out. Mm-hmm. And he comes back around. The waiter comes back and he was like, oh, is this ready? And I was like, no, it's not ready yet. Because it was also kind of like,
he ain't moved.
At no point did this man reach for the bill.
Oh.
At no point. So then at that point, I go and like look at it just to kind of like see what our tab is. And I was like, you don't want to pay for this? And he was like, well, you asked me out. And he was like, so.
Sorry.
Right. So you're going to pay. Now, this, I got money. You're right. I do. I can afford to pay for this. But the reason this one pissed me off is because the last time before the whole Brooklyn fiasco, I actually offered to pay for dinner. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll take you out kind of thing. But what I didn't expect is that he was like, yeah, go ahead and pay for dinner. And so I did. And I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. You're right. I offered, I'll pay for it. You've paid for everything else, so fine.
No, I offered for us to get back on common ground. I offered for us to go out, talk through our differences. That's what I offered. I didn't offer for me to come here and pay. Like the least you could have said is, well, let's go Dutch, right. But because I just asked for us to go out, I'm supposed to pay for you. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
And listen, again, I'm not saying that a man has to pay for every date. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in this instance, his reasoning felt like, so whatever. We weren't going anywhere. He was not making a move for his wallet. I pulled out mine. I paid for it. But in my head, as soon as I dropped that card, I knew it's over. I already knew. Also, too, because one, I had paid for us to go out before. But also, when we look at our expenses, I have more expenses than you. I have children. This man didn't have children. It was just him. So it's also kind of like, it kind of felt like, yeah, I'm taking money out of your children taking food away from your own children.
My children's mouth.
Right. So the whole thing just kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. I knew as soon as I walked out, I was like, this is not going anywhere. So, and then what else pissed me off was the whole time he was talking about how much money he was spending on other stuff. So it wasn't like you didn't have the money. You did not want to spend the money on me. Fine. Again, you're not obligated. But I just was like, it just gave me the ick. And I was like, I'm done. So after that, I was just like, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. Like he tried to like reach out to me after that. I was just kind of like, I had a serious ick. I was just like, I just don't think that this is going to be right. And so he tried to reach out after that. And he was like, this is when he really pissed me off. He was like, it had been like a couple of days after that dinner. And he texted me and he was like, for somebody on an apology tour, you're really not proving that you're sorry. And I was like, the fuck? What do you mean on an apology tour? I wasn't on an apology tour. I invited you out to dinner to see if we could get back on common ground, if we could like squash this. And now I'm the one on the apology tour. Sir, you're the one who pissed me off.
Right.
And so he called me. I pick up the phone and he was like, you're not giving me enough attention for someone who's trying to get back in my good graces. And I was like, right then, I was like, yeah, no, you're right. I was like, hey, I got to drop my kids off. I'll talk to you later. I didn't call him back. And then finally, when we did talk a few days later, I was just like, I think we want different things. And I was like, I don't think that I can be the woman that you need. And he was like, how do you know the woman that I need? And I was like, just based on our history, you want someone to take care of you. And not that I'm opposed to not taking care of my man. I was like, but it's the way that you go about it and your expectations of it.
Right.
And then the way you told me I was on an apology tour, I was like, the only thing that I agreed to apologize for was ghosting you. I agree. That was wrong. I should not have ghosted you. We had put in some time. I did care about you. I should at least tell you why I'm not talking to you anymore. That's what I apologized for. telling me that I need to go on an apology tour to prove my worth and my value to you? No, sir, I don't.
Right.
And I won't.
Right.
So after
Wow.
all that was said and done, me and my weekend boo thing ain't a thing anymore. But
Look.
I enjoyed it while it lasted. It definitely was like a learning lesson in certain things that I will and will not do this version of me in relationship. And yeah, I mean, he was my last date from the dating app, and
Right.
it was a story to tell, if nothing else.
I think what we have learned or are learning through this dating experience is that our spirit team, like go back to seasons 1 and seasons 2, we are so covered. And our spirit team will help us discern very quickly who is for us and who is not. So the way that he started to show up and speak out, in a manner that was, it made you feel less than. Like when you called me that day, you was down and out. And I said, okay, let's recap,
Right. Made me question my worth. Yeah.
And then he's still going on about it. He's still going on about, this apology tour. And then you don't want to pay for dinner just because I asked for us to have a conversation about something so that we can get back on the right page. You're revealing a lot to me, sir, that is not, like you said, I don't think we're good for each other.
Yeah.
So again, it may not have worked out, but it wasn't meant to. It wasn't meant to work out.
And this is one of those instances where I was so grateful.
Yeah.
I kept my cookie. Okay.
Oh,
so
good for
we
you.
we've been speaking like a month and a half. We had been in plenty of compromising positions where it could have happened. But something, like you said, our spirit team and my own discernment said not yet. It kept saying not yet. Do not give it up to this man. And now I am so grateful that I didn't, because I would have regretted it, just because it wouldn't have been worth it. I would have felt like I wasted my celibacy, this break, on someone that was not for me. So again, learning lessons on discernment and not sugarcoating shit. Because that's the other thing. I think that we are like, oh, well, he's good here, maybe not here, but I like that. You know what I'm saying? I am not going to bend or move my boundaries for anyone ever again. I'm here because I've gotten to this place because I created boundaries, and I'm not going to allow a man, no matter how good he looks or how much money I think he has, change those. So
and I think that summed up this episode is the boundaries that we create will help us, move forward in this experience. And we're also not giving up on love. So
absolutely not. Honey, because next week we on to the next. And I'll tell y'all all about it, honey, because I got more stories to tell. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. Peace.
Bye, guys. Girl, this was everything. Let's pick this back up next Friday.
Bye, girl.